And we welcome you into Harrisonburg, Virginia, everybody. Matt Martucci, the former two-time All-American, and former Duke Kelly Berger. Now, what is an unseasonably chilly day here in Harrisonburg? You can speak to this, I think, as well as anybody. Haven't gone to school here. This shouldn't feel like this in early April. At least I hope not.
No, we always say lacrosse season should be a spring sport, although it doesn't seem to get warm until the very end. So I think they're used to playing in this cold weather. It's best just not maybe think about it. Hopefully the sun stays out and the wind dies down.
A pair of teams with opposite results the other night. James Madison ended up with a blowout win on the road at Delaware and coming back home. And as for Drexel, had to open up with, we talked about it in our pregame hit a little bit, the top two teams in this entire league. You kind of have to run the gauntlet here in your first weekend if you're the Dragons.
Yeah, and I think to touch on that as well, I mean, Drexel's somewhat of a younger squad. So to come out against two veteran teams, Towson and JMU, with veteran players out there, it sometimes is tough to get going. But the other thing to look at is there's not too much pressure on them. So maybe just go out, play, have a little fun, see what you can do, and see where the game takes you.
Drexel in what is the blue jerseys with the gold numbers. And JMU is its annual Friends of Jacqueline game, honoring cancer survivor Jacqueline Murphy and their relationship with her that started back in the early 2000s. So James Madison with the pink jerseys, which might present a challenge for Kelly and I, but I think we're up to it today.
Hey, I don't mind it. I like the pink. I think it looks pretty.
Courtney Dietzel, the one to take the draw for Drexel. And the talented freshman Carson Harris, who we've been hearing a lot about the first couple weeks of the season.
You see that quick start right from the get-go, where they pick up the ball and they just go. No more, stand and wait around. See who can do that best. Sometimes you get a good advantage on that.
Yeah, how do you feel about that just in terms of the game, helping the game?
Yeah, they say it's the fastest game on 2 feet, and we just seem to somehow make it faster. And I think, I haven't played with it ever, but I think it makes the game move well, and players are reacting to it well.
And easy clear for Madison. But quickly taken away by Drexel. A freshman goalkeeper for the Dragons this year at Zoe Bennett. Molly Daugherty, who we actually saw on screen a few minutes ago, making her first career start for James Madison, haven't completely sewn up their goaltending situation just yet.
You can see that JMU maybe needs to just calm down a little bit. Hannah had an early turnover. They got the ball back, so let's see if they can work the ball around here and get a good start.
Katie Kerrigan just had it off and operates for Manx, one of their best passers. And right down Main Street, and a quick goal. Doesn't take long for them to end up getting on the board.
Kristen Gaudier in there came from the top 1v1 with a right dodge down the alley and a pretty easy finish. Drexel knows that that's the key player that they need to slide to. We'll see if they make that adjustment, but Kristen's going to do that all day long if they allow her to.
Kristen Gaudier has one of the best lacrosse IQs on this Madison team, according to Shelley Clays Balcom. That's goal number 41 on the year, and her 50th point to lead this team.
Yeah, you said it best. She's a leader, so she will lead this team. They look to her. They want her to start things, and if she's going, then they're going. So they follow her for sure, and she knows that, and she's done a really nice job this season taking that on as a senior leader.
Kelly, you're going to be my number spotter today for James Madison. That's what I'm going to tell you.
I can help you out in whatever way I can.
Haley Warden that time on the draw for the Dukes.
You're going to pick out here that JMU does a lot of pressure behind the cage. They run kind of a funny zone. It's hard to explain. It's hard to beat. It's hard to play against. And you're seeing that Drexel's having a little bit of a struggle with it early on, handling that pressure.
And it's something that they've changed up a little bit as far as their defenses.
Yep, for sure.
In the conversation with Coach this week. Seems like they're doing some different things than they were a year ago because teams were figuring out the zone that they were running last season.
Yes, and I've tried to watch it a couple times. I still can't kind of figure it out. So they seem to be doing a good job about making adjustments.
Nice feed right into the middle of the zone, but quickly taken away by Lindsay Shettle for the Dragons.
So you see that stop there, that player decided she was gonna stand for a minute and get kind of set. The player does have that option to do that, to have more, I guess we can call it a slow start than a fast start. And you'll see that based off of what the player wants with the ball.
Nice dodge for Danielle Senor. Dietzel bringing it from 12 meters.
Now, if I was Drexel here, I would try to probably keep it up top. They've taken it behind the goal 2 times, and they have gotten 2 turnovers. So I would try and keep it above goal line extended. Maybe just try and get a couple touches in, get some feel of the ball, get a little attack going, and get your feet under you early in the game.
Lucy Schneiderith, who's taken on a bigger role as a scorer this year. Off to Senor. Played close to 3.5 minutes. Nice turn, and Darty challenged early and won that battle.
Good save by her. She needs that early on. You want your goalie to have an early save, and that was a good take and a good save, both offense and defense.
Kind of the proverbial monkey off your back, right? The exhale.
Exactly.
And quick transition now for the Dukes. Scooped up off the carpet by Senor, playing a little two-way lacrosse. It's one thing we haven't mentioned. We have a sisterly matchup today. On one end for Drexel and the other for James Madison.
That's got to be fun for the parents.
Yeah, Haley Warden, Rachel Warden.
You cheer for everyone, I guess.
Yeah, that's exactly right. All goals are, everything's good.
Exactly.
Harris was the one to bring it through. The transfer, Cassidy Delaney. A nice feed for Alex Beelman, but it's quickly taken away.
I'd like to see if JMU can push this fast break. They've had good success in their past games with pushing the pace of the attack, starting from the midfield. So we'll see if we can continue to go through that, especially with the ball here in Haley Warden's stick. She's, one of their leaders, so she needs to start that off and show some senior pride here and saying, I know how to run this game.
You never had a problem with that, I don't think.
I like to be in charge sometimes. ISO there, she can take a look there. So we like that dodge down the alley. JMU does really like and really tends to go to a lot with that righty sweep across. They had that opportunity there with a foul.
Haley Warden, the one to bring it into the zone. Name that we've known for several years in this program. Haley Warden, finally a senior.
Yeah, and I'm sure she's thinking, darn, I'm already a senior.
And altered by Bennett. Nice job to win the matchup there.
So you see that ISO setup, sweep down, the right alley dodge, and a finish.
And there's Warden knotting up the game, or making it 2-0, I should say, almost 6 minutes into this one.
She does a really nice job here of reading not only her players, but the defender who overcommitted there, took away her right hand, so she rolls back for that lefty finish with the left hand. And that's one thing that she does so well. She can go right and left. She's a complete midfielder, and that's why she's still on that Jordan watch list.
It's number 23 of the year for Warden. Just outside Philadelphia in Glen Mills, Pennsylvania. Comes comes from a very reputable program in Garnet Valley, one you hear about year in and year out as far as the high school girls game.
I remember watching her as a freshman and as a sophomore and saying, that kid is going to be really good come junior, senior. She was good as a freshman and sophomore, and she has done such a great job in this program and helped this program to be what it is today.
Yeah, you were saying this complex is a little different than when you were here, huh?
Yeah, you know, I've been out of school for a little bit. It was not here when I was here, but it is a beautiful complex.
Two-time CAA Rookie of the Week, Colleen Grady, bringing it through for Drexel. It's the thing with this Dragon team. Not a whole lot of upperclassmen. We harped on it a little bit in our pregame hit that they are a really, really young team and a team that eventually could make some noise in the CAA. Just have to get some of these kids reps, that's all.
Yeah, lots of freshmen out there, but sometimes that's not a bad thing. Sometimes they don't know any better and they just go hard, they work their butts off, and good things come. So whether it's today or maybe in years to come, I think there's good future in Drexel. They have a good recruiting class, and see what they can do.
Drexel played by the CAA Player of the Year in Warden. So tough is this defense, able to anticipate, and Emma Johnson taking it away.
Great read there, great cause turnover, and that is one of those plays as a really good to have.
And just like that, 2 passes, and they're at the opposite end of the field, into the Dragon zone. And a foul on Drexel.
Good job, defense!
Foul on Drexel there, not a terrible foul. I mean, stop the play, slow down the play, maybe take away that shot that she had and put her on that 8-meter. Romsberg here will take this on that 8-meter. Righty up, she likes this hash.
Yeah, one of their energy players, Elena Romsberg, and Bennett wins this one. So another big save for the freshman. And like Kelly Berger, Zoe Bennett, a Maryland native. Pasadena, Maryland, comes from another really reputable program in Severn.
She's a fiery little player. She's small, quick, all over the field. You just saw her get the ball back after that shot. She's not a quitter. Haley up top with that righty dodge that she likes.
Yeah, Warden, couple nice face dodges. Somehow able to find the middle of the zone on that cut.
Romsberg back on that hash.
Yeah, I don't think black numbers on pink jerseys on a sunny Sunday afternoon were really what they had in mind.
They're really making you work for it.
Uh-huh. We're using our monitor a lot today. Bounce shot and a score right off the restart. And there's Romsberg.
She gets put on that 8-meter a lot, so she's really been able to master that quick start. You can see her get off that line really quickly. A good finish. She changed it up from the last shot where she shot high to high. She learned from it, took it in a nice low bouncer right between the goalie's legs, and put it away for her team to put him back on the board.
Madison goal scored by number 28.
Elena Romsberg's 38th of the year. And already, just like the other night on the road against Delaware, Duke's jumping out in this one rather quickly. 19-5 the other night. They were up 12-2 at the half. And conversely, the same type of situation for the second straight game for Drexel. The Dragons 2-1 was the closest they got the other night against Towson.
I think the more impressive thing was JMU had scored about, I think, 8 goals in 8 minutes to start them off, so it was pretty impressive to watch. And that's always hard to come back from on a chilly Friday night.
Warden and Dietzel on the draw.
It's a redraw. It has to go over both players' heads, come up and out. Maddie, who's in the middle there for JMU is a pretty tall girl, so it's got to come over her head in order for it to be a legal draw.
Yeah, Maddie McDaniel, you're not kidding. Just 6 feet tall.
I got the chance to coach her when she was a senior in high school at a tournament, and she was a pleasure and very talented, so it's good to see her do good things.
Drexel fighting for it, but run down by Charlotte Haggerty, who I think we'll talk about quite a bit in the next few years. But just surrounded by a lot of talent right now for the Colonials.
A lot of hustle there by Drexel, and you got to appreciate that. Letting that defense get set for JMU is always tough. But again, just getting some touches up top. It is still early in this game. Drexel will be able to feel the ball, get into their offense.
And that seems to be exactly what they're doing. Schneiderith with the nice dodge, but quickly shut off. And they challenge Darty again. But another big save for the keeper, and Delaney has to run it down.
You can see that she was pushed out of bounds there. She got shoved in the back there, so yes, she did step out, but she was pushed out, so they give Drexel the ball back, and most importantly, Drexel gets a fresh shot clock. Another chance to kind of run their offense here.
Dragon team that a season ago ended up winning 7 games, but only 2 wins in CAA play.
You know, looking at these two teams, I would say to Drexel, slow the pace of the game a little bit. Try and, you know, possess the ball as much as you can, using that shot clock to your advantage rather than your disadvantage. And just try and, you know, slow the game down. Don't try and go possession to possession with JMU. Take the air out of the ball and just get your feelings down with that ball on the attacking side.
It would seem like, you know, Hannah Wazalik has the same idea. Some of that might be the JMU defense, but they're certainly taking their time.
For sure. JMU's doing a really good job talking, communicating. You can hear them from all the way up here, calling out, playing team defense, not just individual defense. It's a lot of slides and a lot of help. And as I say that, they get a 3-second call. So someone was planted inside that 8-meter, just a little too long, unmarked.
And maybe the best opportunity of the day for the Dragons. Lucy Schneiderith trying to go top shelf and a little too high.
Oh yeah, I would disagree with that call. Yep, that Jamie as well.
So a third of the way through what is this first half. And so far, all Dukes early on. Elena Romsberg had the last goal.
Great job, defense!
But even out shooting Drexel 6-3 to this point. And as you would expect from a team that's as disciplined as the Dukes are under Coach Claes Balkum. Perfect 5 for 5 on their clears this afternoon. Multiple dodges en route to the cage. And Hannah Haven, who they call more or less the X Factor.
Yeah, she's a very balanced attacker for them. She's got good amount of goals, good amount of assists. Her head's always up on her dodge, looking for teammates. Coming off of this outside hash here.
Haven off the 8-meter, goes bottom shelf this time. Little 5-hole and 4-0 in favor of James Madison quickly.
Good job, Dukes!
Yeah, Hannah's got a great quick start on this whistle with it in her left hand. Some players go righty there. She chose to go lefty, which I applaud her for. I think that was a good decision, and she puts it away right through the middle of the legs.
JMU players head going in this time for some sunglasses.
Even a junior out of Syracuse.
She's probably used to this cold.
Yeah, I would say so.
Although she's got a dome if she needs to up there, right?
And it snowed a little bit here. They flurried, and there were some showers, but no accumulation yesterday. I can tell you from personal experience, when it snows in April in Syracuse, it accumulates.
There's no just flurries,
No,
right? There's
no, that doesn't exist.
There's definitely a little bit more than that. But you go there and you're prepared.
Correct.
You know, when you come down south, you're not as...
You know what you're getting into.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, April 8th and a low of 29 is not what they were looking for.
Not
I don't
welcoming, you know? Come on.
think. Not what they signed up for.
Kristen with that ground ball pickup, handling that bump. And the Dukes are back on the offense.
Kristen Gaudian was the one to get them started.
You can even see here, she's calling out the plays. She's their leader there.
Excellent roll dodge. And a foul on the Dragons.
Looks like they have two different calls here. One's a shooting space call and one's a push call.
Warden will be the one to trigger it in off the 8-meter. And a clean strip is what they call.
Yeah, they didn't give her that foul there. It looks like the Drexel's got a nice check off that. Maybe take that shot a little sooner, get rid of that ball, might give her a better opportunity, but nonetheless, Drexel's on the offense.
Well, you've done plenty of coaching. You're getting toward the halfway point of this first half. Where do you want this to be if you're looking at it from a Drexel perspective at the half?
You know, I think you want to take it one possession at a time, and it's more about valuing the possessions. So can you get, maybe not focus as much on the score. Yes, it is only 4-0, and 4-0 in lacrosse is not that many goals. Can be turned around there. But I think you take it one possession at a time and you try and get better each possession. So value the ball, limit the turnovers, and see what you can come up with there. Most importantly, it looks like they're just having a little bit of trouble dealing with the double teams and the pressure. So how can they fix that? And then let the goals come. They'll come. It'll happen.
Harris lost that one out of her stick. Well, you've watched it enough. What is it about this JMU defense that makes it so hard to score on?
Yeah, I mean, I think the most important thing is they play team defense. So they never let one person out to dry. If that one person gets beat, there's always the next person sliding, and that makes it really difficult as an attacker on the opposing team. Unless you have, your teammate standing right next to you ready to help, it does make it hard. And if it's not something you play against every day, that's even harder. So I think they do a really nice job as team defense, not just individual defense.
Well, and you talked about it, I think, before, the communication. They talk really, really well. You hear a cutter coming through, somebody says something.
For sure, and I think that's one thing in our sport. It's one of the most important things you want to stress to young lacrosse players, that have a conversation with the girl next to you on your team and make it a conversation to make everyone feel more comfortable around you.
Almost at the halfway point of the first half, where Drexel has managed just a pair of shots on goal. Another big save that time for Bennett.
Another chance for Hannah on that 8-meter. But a great save by Drexel.
Savage, who's more or less one of the senior leaders for the Dragons, the one to finally run that ball down. Bennett setting up Arden Edgerton.
Good cut back by Drexel to move the ball upfield, not just try and run it. Let's see if they try and press this break before JMU gets set. Another stick in the air there, good cause turnover. JMU's doing a nice job with supporting each other, getting those cause turnovers, and then pushing that ball upfield.
It's already their fifth of the game. Fifth one that the Colonials have in fact forced. Drexel overall turned it over 8 times here in the first 15 minutes of this first half.
And I'm sure the Drexel coaching staff, that was not in their game plan. So I'm sure that's somewhat frustrating for them with having so many turnovers, and maybe that's something they talk about at half, limiting them. Sometimes that just can set up for just a little more success. You can hold on to that ball, calm yourselves down.
Haven had it picked away briefly. Lindsay Shettle, the one giving chase.
Good ball movement. The quicker you can move the ball, the slower those bodies will move with it. Got a pretty good lineup up top here on the 8-meter with Romsburg, Haven, Warden, Maddie, and most importantly, Kristen Godden.
And honestly, other than maybe Towson, probably the deepest team offensively in the CAA, which nobody's surprised about.
For sure, and the one thing you have to think about is it's seniors. They've been playing together for a while. They know each other.
And there's another response, another quick goal, and Romsburg has her second one of the game.
And I believe, if I'm correct, it's her second one off the 8-meter.
It is.
And again, she's got it figured out. She comes quickly off that line. She protects her stick here really well from that defender on her right. Does a nice bouncer there in between the legs of the Drexel goalie.
Elena Romsburg off of what was a 5-goal night the other night in the blowout.
She never looks tired, even watching her there run to the timeout. She's just kind of trotting along, no big deal. She's not tired, she's ready to go.
The biggest difference, I guess, in talking to Coach Claes Balkum about her this year, just her composure. Said she's finishing a little better. She's been a little more consistent with that.
I'm sure that comes along a little bit with her age. You know, she's feeling a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more confident. People are relying on her. And I think each game that she has, like she had on Friday night against Delaware, will build that confidence more and more and more, setting her up for a good postseason run and a good leadership in her.
Well, she is the U.S. Women's National Team member, Kelly Berger. My name's Matt Martucci, watching the defending conference champions from James Madison on the CAA Game of the Week. And a reminder, Friday, you have a chance to see the two teams hoping to knock them off at the conference tournament in May. Friday, April 13th, the Towson Tigers visiting Elon in a rematch of last year's semifinal that was won by the Phoenix. Coverage underway 5:30 p.m. with the Lacrosse Now pregame show and the CAA Game of the Week, only on Lac Sports Network. And as far as how James Madison ended up getting there, Kristen Gaudian wasted no time. And then Haley Warden.
Romsburg coming off that 8-meter.
Yeah, that was
her first.
That was the first one we were talking about. And another 8-meter from Hannah Haven.
And finally, Romsburg on that 8-meter on that last goal. I would love to ask Shelly how often they practice 8 meters in practice. I know it's different for every coach on what they do. Sometimes they don't want them to think about it too much. But I remember as a coach often looking back saying, man, if we only made all of our 8 meters, this would have been a completely different game. And they are so important, and they are one of those things where as a player you step up and sometimes very quickly you can get in your own head, similar to a foul shot in basketball. So it looks like Romsburg's got it down. Hannah's got it down. They look like they're pretty good at them. So let's see if they keep it rolling.
And there's a look at some of that defensive unit. Corinne Schmidt, Rebecca Tooker.
Looks like they're having some fun back there. So you can see here that they just swarm the ball. They slide. They have someone next to them at all times. Even if there's not an offensive player next to them, within their zone, they play an area as well as being aware of what the cutters are around them. So it is hard to break down as an offensive team for sure.
What they say is a 47-degree day here in Harrisonburg.
That's a lie.
Wind chill, I would say, has that down to somewhere in the 20s.
The sun's out. We shouldn't complain, right?
Yeah,
But
we're just not
but
in
we're
it.
not
We're
in the
not in
sun.
it, Kelly. That's the problem.
Give me some sun, I think it'd be a different story.
But inside of halfway gone here in the opening half.
See if that timeout, they talked maybe about some different options on this offensive end. Looks like Drexel's putting 2 inside, 1 inside. They're exchanging there, popping in and out. Maybe looking for some feeds, some cuts. It's really about distracting the off-ball defenders so they aren't able to slide. But that requires movement from everyone. All 7.
Drexel back at the top of the zone. Again, it's just about trying to find a way in, and there really isn't one.
Yeah, and sometimes on the offensive end, when you can't find a way in, you almost get anxious and you cause your own turnover. So that sometimes can be frustrating. Now, this is something that you'll see somewhat often in a zone defense. It's the 3-second call where what we call the off-ball ref will watch inside to see if anyone's just kind of camped out in there, not guarding anyone, because that's not legal. And that's what they're calling here.
This one goes by Darty. And Delaney chases it down.
Good time to dodge here. The defense is not necessarily set. She waited just a half a second too long, but that was a good thought.
Jamie Schneiderith with her sister Lucy. 2 of what is quadruplets. So they have half of them on the Drexel roster.
That's pretty cool. So that's that shooting clock that expired there. So it's an automatic turnover to JMU. And you got to get excited when you're a defense and you hold a team to 90 seconds of no shots. It's a long time, and it's a well done, well deserved.
Spent a lot of time at this end of the field here in the first half. The balance of James Madison.
I thought she was going to call a shooting space call there, where Romsberg did a really good job of holding off and not taking that shot, which was a very smart play on her part for safety reasons. But no call. She got a check on the head, and they moved on with it. Maddie?
And right there, but had it deflected.
Good save on that goalie, holding her stance.
And Zoe Bennett once again. I've been impressed with her.
Yeah.
Just going up against a really tough offense.
It's not easy. It's, if anything, intimidating. And she's held her ground, so. The charge there. Got to allow the offensive player to turn around and see the defender before she just runs into that defender. Sometimes that's hard to see what happens first, but Romsberg hopping right back up, right back into the offense.
Excellent face dodge. And getting right into the middle of the zone. And a foul on, once again, the Dragons. Katie Kerrigan is the one who will line this one up.
That outside hash once again. Ooh, I was gonna say, she had a very quick start. So quick that it was before the whistle. She tried to read it. Unlucky.
How were you with that? Were you good at timing it out?
Yeah, it's one of those things. I was good one day and not so good the other day. Depends on the ref. Sometimes they hold the whistle a little bit longer. But yeah, it's all about the quick start. I try and think less about the shot and more about just getting off the line, getting your hands free. the shot will come.
Now here's a question: were there particular referees that when you knew they were on a game, maybe it was advantageous for you because of the way they call the game?
Well, I guess, Matt, if you play as long as I do, you get to know everyone, right? So, yeah, I knew tendencies for sure, but they definitely knew my tendencies as well. So you just kind of have to think, just whistle. Just think
I'm
whistle.
going to steer clear of this, Kelly. I think you just called yourself
You're
old.
calling me a veteran of veterans. Yeah. There's quite a few rule changes in my span of play, so lots of same officials, but there we go.
Multiple dodges and an excellent move by Delaney, who they really like as a transfer.
A great
Darting
move by
again
her
up to the
there.
challenge.
Yeah, for sure. And that was an awesome, confident move on a low crease roll. Saw the opening and took it, but again, a great save. And JMU's on that offense.
Now look at City, Maryland. Another Maryland native, Cassidy Delaney.
They breed them out there. Lots of lacrosse.
Nice feed from behind by Warden, out in front. Shot goes wide.
Beautiful ball movement.
That was McDaniel.
Quick stick there by McDaniel. That was well done. Oh, another
And
chance.
again, perfect setup to the front of the cage. And out of bounds.
You can hear Shelly on the sideline over there applauding her attack with wonderful ball movement. That is JMU attack for this year. They move the ball well. They see each other well. They know where they're going to be before they are there, and that's why they've been successful. So we need to see more of that today.
Yeah, that was Morgan Hart on that last one.
She might be looking to pass here. Nope, taking the shot. Wow.
And add her to what is a growing amount of depth for James Madison this afternoon. It's Hart's 11th of the year.
Now, I thought maybe she was going to look to pass here on that setup that she had. It wasn't as low. It wasn't as looking as explosive, but she got off that line well. She got her hands nice and free and hit that top pipe to make it a beautiful finish. I don't want to say it, but the wind died down a little bit.
A little bit.
We'll hang on to what we...
You know that's coming back now.
I know. Well, if you know anything about JMU, it's windy. It is windy whatever field you are on, it will be breezy.
Hart, by the way, becomes the 5th different James Madison player to score on the afternoon. Said the other night, 5 different players with at least 2 or more, led by the 5 from Romesburg. I think we're headed potentially to a similar type of day.
For sure, and that's a great thing to see as a coach. You want to see multiple scorers, allowing your offense to not rely on just one player, especially when teams get a little tougher, or maybe they start to shut down one player. You can rely on somebody else, and that's something you really want to stress to your team.
Maddie McDaniel didn't quit on that last draw. That's the reason that James Madison ends up with the possession.
So JMU with the lead here, they have the opportunity to maybe use some time, slow it down a little bit. Their legs might be a little tired from Friday.
You think about the way, and I don't know if it was necessarily like this when you were here. Is this one going to be backed up? The way they challenge themselves, though, in the non-conference early on, you think about some of the teams that have been on this field this year. Wow. And they get another one. Waste no time.
As she was falling, I could not see who was that finisher, but that was impressive.
Let's get one more look. Yeah, giving up the body. Hallie Dunkel. Who's now the 6th different player, her 11th goal of the year.
That was very impressive. She was selling out for that ball. She caught it and finished it all in the same motion. And the most important thing is, as she's falling, she's flicking her top wrist to raise that shot to go high. So the goalie really does not have too much of a chance when she turns around to see where it's going, because she's going to follow her body there to go low. and she was able to flick it with her top wrist to hit the top left corner, which was nicely done. Another player to score.
But finishing the thought for before was talking about who they brought in here. They opened the year with UNC, obviously top 25 team. They win that game in double overtime. They come back, they bring Va Tech in here out another ACC school. Penn State has been here. They were the 20th ranked team in the country when the day they came in.
Yeah, you know, starting early sometimes can kick you in the butt, and sometimes can set you up for a really good season. So if, you know, those first 4 or 5 games don't go your way, sometimes it's hard to bounce back from. If they do go your way, they build wonderful confidence. The team sees what they're able to do. So as a coach, you just kind of have to hopefully read your team, see you know, what kind of personality you have. Can they bounce back from it either way? And JMU hasn't had to, you know, really bounce back from much. They've been on a good roll here.
Yeah, talked to Shelly Clays-Balkum on the phone the other day, and said the only loss that they've had to a Maryland team that I watched dominate the other night on national television.
Yeah. Yep. Maryland's a great program. They went into that house, into Maryland's house, and it was a good game, a good crowd, good environment. Maybe there's a chance they see him again down the road.
Off the restart, and there's Haley Warden.
Good job, Kristen.
Actually, correction, that's Gaudian for the second time today.
Go Duke.
I have a feeling Gaudian finds herself on that 8-meter pretty often. She's got it down with that stick protection, bringing that stick in front and then bringing it up in order to finish that shot right before she gets to the crease. She does a nice job by raising her stick nice and high, making that goalie come all the way up to her tiptoes and then kind of dunking it down into the back of the net.
So already up to what's 42 goals on the year, Kristen Gaudian.
My keys to the game for JMU would have been to start fast and play at your level, and they've been able to do that for sure.
I was going to say. By the way, Gaudian continued to open up that scoring lead on the top of the CAA. Coming into today, already had a 3-goal cushion on Alyssa Perella from Hofstra, who's as good as they come.
It's always a battle, and it's always has that CAA play comes in and finishes quicker than it even starts. Play about 2 games a weekend.
Yeah, it's a 4-week sprint, right? Pretty much.
It's quick. It happens quick. So those margins, you know, go back and forth often. Sweep down the right-hand side. She loves that dodge.
Another one for Gaudian.
That is her move. She likes that left to right split down the right alley. And that low bouncer reminds me of my go-to move when I was in college. She's got it down, that low bouncer sweeping down the alley. It's a hard angle for that goalie to read. She goes far pipe there. Well done.
So already a hat trick for Kristen Gaudian. I think that, again, we're going to talk about this a lot over the course of this season, but when Haley Warden is your player of the year, and a year ago in this league, she's not even your leading goal scorer, what does that say about your team?
Yeah, you know, it seems like everyone is rising to the occasion, and that's something that Shelly talked about a lot. She talked about balance. She talked about having, you know, yes, 3, 4, 5 top attackers, but that also, you know, you have to give those attackers credit. They're very good players, but they're also good because of the people around them. And so she stresses that all the time. It's a team thing, and, you know, it shows. Every box score, there's multiple players that have scored.
Romsberg basically shot out of a cannon into that zone.
She's a quick little one. Now, if I'm Drexel here, maybe I'm starting to think, should I face guard? Should we slide early? How can we stop them? Stop the bleeding, if you will, to slow this game down at all.
Nice cut to the cage. Good D, though, for the Dragons.
Spread out, JMU, spread out. There's a lot of bodies in there, and you actually heard Shelly say spread out. Oh, that's uncharacteristic
And
of
Gaudian with an unforced error there. Dragons off the restart. And Carson Harris going to try and bring it all the way through. Dietzel now. Courtney Dietzel, who's been at the draw circle pretty much the entire afternoon for the Dragons.
JMU hasn't been on defense for a little while, so Drexel should take advantage of this. Maybe them being on their heels or falling a little asleep.
And Harris, forcing the issue, draws the foul.
So that'll be a block there. She was outside the 8 meter, so she will not get an 8 meter shot. And she will have to pass before anyone shoots here. Indirect. Drexel again passing that ball up around the horn. I would encourage them to do some off-ball movement.
Dietzel trying to split the double and finally able to get it on Darty, but she was ready again.
Great foot save there. Can't use your stick, use your foot. Why not? There's that quick start again.
And who else but Haley Warden leading the charge.
Great hustle by Drexel.
Danielle Sonor, the one to run her down and knock that ball out of her stick.
Hey, 9-0, but Drexel's not giving up. They're still fighting, they're still running after him. And that takes a lot of heart, so it's a long game. Officials time. Looks like the player had some blood.
Little personnel issue.
Yeah. Lots of communication on the defensive end. We talk a lot about that, but there just needs to be just as much communication on the offensive end with one another, with cuts, with who's popping out, who's helping the ball. And it looks like here JMU has now put a face guard on number 5, Colleen Grady, who is their top scorer, so they're trying to take her out of the game. She's working hard behind the goal there, trying to get open for her team. And I would encourage Drexel to focus less on that and then just play your game.
Yeah, Grady, the 2-time CAA Rookie of the Week. Their leading scorer, 27 goals on the year. Harris has been their second leading scorer, just almost had that one. But again, the Madison defense stands tall. If you're just joining us, 6 different James Madison Dukes have found the board, led by Kristen Gaudian's hat trick. JMU winning virtually every category in this game, out shooting Drexel 15-7.
Empty stick check call there. That's unlucky by Drexel. Good hustle to get back. JMU gets that ball right back.
Good job, defense! Good job, Molly!
15 shots for James Madison. 13 of them have been on goal today. To credit Zoe Bennett, though, between the pipes for Drexel. 4 saves in this first half. Otherwise, this could have been a lot uglier.
For sure, she's a top. They can push the.
The pass ends up evading her, but finally run down Cassidy Delaney. That's, I think, the other thing. There's almost little to no opportunity for any kind of transition game against this James Madison defense.
For sure, when you have it, you need to take it. And it looked like Drexel there lost a little speed. You know, they did play a game again 48 hours ago, and that is hard on your legs. It is a lot of running, so maybe they are a little tired, but I would encourage them to take advantage of that fast break. Don't let that defense get set, because once it's set, like you said, it's very hard to break it down.
Harris was looking for Drexel, and that was almost picked up right on the doorstep for the Dragons. Lucy Schneiderith was right there, but just couldn't corral it. Final 2 minutes of the first half. Matt Martucci and the former Duke, the two-time All-American Kelly Berger, and our entire fine Lac Sports Network crew on what is a chilly afternoon here in Harrisonburg. Just be glad you're not out in the elements, folks. That's what we could say.
We'll give you the whole feeling of how it feels.
Exactly. The second pair of gloves that I put on, I think, has said it all.
Players don't look like they're too cold. They look
No.
like they're pretty warm, moving around, sleeveless. I think I would be in leggings and an Under Armour, but that's just me.
Bounce shot and another score. And adding to the total, they continue. This time, Logan Brennan.
She does a great job by protecting her stick, pulling it under, switching to her left, then back to her right. Little finish. I think she surprised herself there with that defender in front of her, falling into the crease, but getting that shot off before, getting rid of it before she runs into too much trouble. Nicely done.
I had asked Coach Claes Balkum the other day, you know, who are some of the kids maybe that don't get enough credit or we haven't talked about? Logan Brennan's name ended up coming up. That's just her third goal of the year.
It's good to see those kids get in there and have an impact on a game like this, because like you saw there, she has a great first step. She's a good finisher. Sometimes she gets overshadowed by maybe those top players, but again, it's a team sport, and without her or without some of these other players, the top players wouldn't be doing their job.
Final draw of the first half. Reminder, Lac Sports Network, home for CAA Lacrosse every Tuesday night, 8:30 Eastern, CAA Press Pass. An in-depth look at all things CAA Lacrosse. Highlights, interviews with the conference's top players and coaches. CAA Press Pass. It's every Tuesday at 8:30, and it's only on Lac Sports Network.
See, JMU's up by 10. There's a running clock now. So that last minute just flew by for them.
And that brings us to the end of our first half, and one that ends up dominated by the defending CAA champions. So once again, our score here from Harrisonburg, James Madison with the 10-0 halftime lead. Kelly and I back for the second half in just a few minutes. But for now, we send you to the LSN Broadcast Center for the Lacrosse Now halftime show. Courtney Dietzel, Haley Warden once again to start the second half, just like we did to open up the game. Mentioned before, Dragons have never won in this series, 17th meeting, and they've dropped them all.
Both teams need to come out here like it's nothing. It's a new half.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're Drexel, just as Coach Wazalik just said, you're looking for something. I think that when you review your film, you could point to a couple places and say, hey, we did this well here, we did that well here.
Exactly. You're learning from anything that you do in this next half, hopefully. So they always say sometimes you learn more from a loss, and that's something that, whether it's a win or a lose for Drexel, they can learn from this game. And I think that's what she's looking for. She wants them to be able to, you know, learn from the first half and make improvements in the second half.
8-meter coming for Haley Warden.
It's like there was a little cross check. High up, a little too high up on the shoulder there rather than down on the hip. Putting her on the 8-meter.
An easy run and everything but the goal for Haley Warden there.
Quick pickup, a quick restart. JMU is very good at that restart before that defense can get set. Let's continue to see some off-ball movement, clearing some space, clearing out that 8-meter.
Hannah Haven, Romesburg with the roll. Good D for Drexel. That's Schneiderith. You have to specify when you say that last name. Lucy Schneiderith that time.
definitely a difference from first half. It looks like Drexel's making a point to, collapse inside, slide to that ball handler, help each other play a little team defense. You can see them pointing fingers, talking to each other.
And Bennett with the response again for the Dragons. Credit her with her 6th save of the game.
Bennett, she's been a rock star back there, and she's
a freshman.
Yeah, she's standing tall. She's holding her ground. She's letting plays run off her back if they don't go her way, and she's on to the next one. So something you want in a goalkeeper for sure.
Good movement into the attack zone for Drexel.
JMU is getting organized defensively as well as Drexel, but they are moving that ball nice and quick. Good inside roll there. Just say protect that stick a little bit, and you have one more step. JMU does a good job by seeing that stick and checking it away.
Transition for the Dukes. And end-to-end quickly, that one off the pipe.
Rumsberg doing what she does best, using her wheels, using her speed, using her quickness, finishing with a good hard shot. Just an inch out wide, hitting that pipe.
Well, you've been at some of those post-game sessions the day or two after the game. When you look back at tape, folks have fun in the film room, I bet, with those.
For sure. Those are the ones you want back, but the sound of hitting that pipe sometimes is a pretty sweet sound. Only when you're up by 10. If you're down by 3, not so much. But those are the ones you can kind of look back on and be okay with. Great ball movement there.
And Haven with the finish. Second time we've called Hannah Haven's name this afternoon.
You know, the biggest thing I like about this one is Hannah demands the ball. So you can see the ball swing once, swing twice, and you can't see her there in the picture, but she says, one more. And she's demanding her teammates, I see it, I know I have it. And the best thing about that is Kristen trusts her there. She hits one more, she trusts that she knows what she's talking about. And that's why this JMU offense is mending so well together, molding together, and really connecting because they trust one another.
Running clock now as a result of the Haven goal.
Yeah, up by 10 there. You get that running clock. Ticks pretty quickly. And that game kind of flies by if that's the case. Now, but I think on Friday night there was a running clock as well, but it went back and forth a little bit. Delaware would score some, JMU would score some, so.
Warden wins another draw.
Warden with that one-handed grab. She makes it look easy. That is not easy to do.
Yeah, that's the level of player you have.
You heard Shelly credit her defense a lot with that first half. And all too often defense goes unnoticed in games like this, but it's hard to stay focused. It's hard to stay driven when you don't see the ball as much on your end. They've done a nice job with clearing and taking care of that ball.
5 minutes already into the second half. Just the one Madison goal. Warden with a face dodge. And now rolling it back against Schneiderith. Foul on the Dragons.
So it's a held flag there. They hold to see if she has the opportunity to shoot. And then they blow the whistle if she decides to not take that, putting her on the 8-meter.
And again, Bennett up to the challenge off this 8-meter.
That was somewhat unlike what she typically does there off of that 8-meter, but another good save.
Danielle Senor. Fouled there by Haven.
Haven was frustrated on the first foul. You could see that it kind of carried through on the second foul, and the official didn't want it to go any further. So she gave her a card, told her to go calm down a little bit, and she will. She knows. She was just a little frustrated with herself there and under control. Nothing worse than sitting in that seat, you know? It's like you're in timeout.
Well, especially after you're warm and you're running around.
Yeah. Just sit down, can't move. Coach is in your ear. There's better places to be, I guess I could say.
Fair enough.
So looks like JMU's backed off that pressure from behind now that they're a man down. We're gonna run a similar zone to probably what they have, just less pressure. Still marking space, as well as being aware of the cutters inside. This is a good opportunity. Drexel get on the board here. Swing that ball quick, find that open girl.
Good job, D.
So I always say in man-up situation, let the ball do the work. You don't necessarily need to dodge. Let the ball swing, let the ball find the open girl. It's one of my favorite things to do in practice, man-up drills.
Drexel off the cut. She'll get 8 meter.
Center hash here doesn't get much better than this. See if she can get off that line.
And Darty was able to deflect that. But we'll get actually another restart.
So we talk about a quick start for the attacking player coming off that 8 meter. It's just as important for the defenders on each side to try and beat them to the space and get a stick in there. Go to where they're going, cut down the angle, and try and get a piece. And you can see that they got a little piece there helping the defender, or helping the goalie out, excuse me, slowing that ball down.
Delaney was there for the backup. That's why the Dragons still have the possession. But their shot clock winded down to just 5. And going low.
Outside the net.
Yeah,
no
outside
goal.
of the net. I thought that Grady might have had it.
It looked like it almost went through her legs. You could see the back of the net move, but it actually hit on the outside there. And you know, Drexel taking a big exhale, almost there.
Another personnel change, it looks like, for James Madison.
Great job, defense. Good job, Molly.
Looks like maybe there's clock confusion.
And we get a look at just how close they did end up coming, but on the outside of the netting.
I was impressed with how she dropped that stick low. She almost did a little what we call a worm burner right on the ground there, but
Industry term.
you know, street ball terms. I can't do that shot, so I'm impressed with anyone who can do it.
Cut to the front, and another score for the Dukes. Hallie Dunkel for the second time.
Again, you'll see that great ball movement where they shift it from out to in. Her head's up. Quick turn inside to see that center feed. Just a nice finish. Just beating the goalie to the spot.
Now, just like the other night, Dunkel now becomes the 4th player with at least 2 goals. Gaudian with 3, Romsberg, Haven, and Dunkel all 2 apiece.
So now as a coach, you're up by 12. Sometimes you do like to see those assisted goals more than those 1v1 goals, to make sure you're working on things just as much, you know, things that you might need in the future. Maybe you don't need today, but you can work on them now. And it also keeps that team focused when it's maybe easy to become unfocused with a 12-0 lead. Maddie there in the middle, that center draw.
Haggerty had it and then got it back.
Haggerty, another little feisty.
Yeah, she's all of 5'3".
Yeah, speedy player that gets down on that ground ball, fights for it, comes up with it.
Navy had a player kind of like that a couple years ago on the attack that I really liked. I think it was Morgan Young.
Yes. She was small, but she did get the job done.
She was tough.
Yeah. Hey, when you're short like us, you can't rely on anything tall. You got to just play as fast as you can. I remember when I was younger, my dad said, when in doubt, just run fast. So that's what I kind of
speed kills, right?
That's what I kind of did, and it ended up working out okay. I was not blessed with height, and that's okay in this sport. You can get away with it.
Running clock continues as we're almost at the halfway point.
I imagine Shelly will try and get some new bodies in here, keeping some of her starters in, but
yeah, it was something else we talked about. That was a big focus of this last week or so in practice. You know, we know what we have more or less in our starting lineup and some of our subs, but what else do we have?
For sure, and you like to reward those players that, you know, even though they might not play in some of the bigger games, they're still gonna have an impact on this team. So you want them to get playing time and feel the ball and, you know, be in the game, because who knows when you're gonna need them. If somebody goes down and you need to call on somebody else on that bench. I feel like there was an offsides call there.
And the first time on the board for the Dragons this afternoon, it's the transfer Cassidy Delaney.
Those are one of those situations where it's tough to swallow as the other team being offsides. It's your own mistake. But Drexel does a nice job by capitalizing. She goes hard, finishing with a nice low bouncer, 5-hole, getting off that line nice and quick.
Get back, Dukes!
So Cassidy Delaney, the Ellicott City, Maryland native, but a transfer from Howard County Community College.
Yeah, my neck of the woods. Howard County has a good program there at HCC. They do a nice job of feeding kids back out once they play 1 or 2 years with them. It's good to see her out here with Drexel helping their program out.
Intends to major in nursing, apparently, Cassidy Delaney. Drexel, a fine academic institution. I don't think I had the SAT scores, Kelly, to get into Drexel.
I did look at Drexel. And it's a very cool school. They do have good 5-year programs, 4-year programs. And hey, we always need nurses, so good for her. That's tough to do while you're also a student athlete. It takes a lot. Little shovel pass there
look
up
at that
top.
shovel pass. And a nice quick recovery.
I think those are the bobbles that Shelly was talking about earlier. She would like the offense to eliminate those. Drexel is doing a good job with, you know, being up in the offensive player's face, trying to make it as hard as they can.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Contact against James Madison. Lucy Schneiderith, the one to bring it through.
They're back to that high pressure behind the goal. They're all even now. That card is up. They're back to that hard pressure behind the goal. I would say just try and focus less on the foul and more on just body. These are the type of things you can work on when you're up by 11 goals.
And the restart, and again, guess who? It's Delaney for the second time. Back-to-back goals for her.
We've seen her a couple times behind the goal there with that, you know, quick first step. Pulls it underneath, tiptoes around the crease there, and has a nice off-hip finish. Very well done. Good protection. Good finish.
Cassidy Delaney, a state championship title winner back in 2014, Marriott's Ridge.
Yeah, Marriotts Ridge is another Howard County powerhouse. Competitors with Mount Hebron. I used to coach with River Hill High School there in Howard County.
And that was one of the schools you envied?
Yeah. Well, come on. They envied us. No, just kidding. No, it was all good. And Marriotts Ridge has a great program there. Have a lot of good players that come out, play at the top programs.
Change in who's taking the draw for the Dragons that time.
Whoa.
It's actually Maggie Stetson that time around.
A little bit of a buddy pass there. Good push of the fast break. Ooh, really one of the first times I've seen them come off that fast break and actually take that shot.
That was Kelsey Reed.
You want to make sure the offense doesn't get lazy here, just kind of looping passes around. Still staying focused, understanding, like Shelly said, take it one possession at a time, but really stay focused here. Looks like they've got some new bodies in there.
Good anticipation for the Dragons. Sonora trying to scoop it up off the carpet. And maybe a little transition for Hannah Wazalik's club. Lucy Schneiderith, nice feed behind, and right on the cage was Grady, but just couldn't get it to go. Darty again continues to be a wall in front of that goal.
Yeah, she's dropping to her knees there, just saying, no, I'm not letting anything else in there on that low crease. Just had to deal with a couple different dodges there around that crease. Good stop. The defense needed that. They need to capitalize here on this push. And if they want to slow down, they have that opportunity to do so.
An excellent feed, banging it home.
So I actually think that was meant for, let's see here on this replay. It's a double cut in there. It ends up in Romsburg's stick with a great finish.
A hat trick now for Elena Romsburg. Linnea Hughes ends up credit with the assist.
Good vision there with keeping her head up, seeing that inside player. One was marked, one was open, and she found the open girl.
Yeah, I think you're right. That was supposed to go to Katie Tchaikovsky.
Yeah, it looked like it, but hey, sometimes it's better to be lucky, right? Either way, it's a good finish and a good vision on the Duke's end.
Romsburg, in terms of multi-goal games, pretty much all but 2 on the entire schedule. Just UC Davis and Rutgers, the only 2 times this year where she was held to just a goal.
She has an impact on that offensive end, along with many other teammates of hers. But she knows one of her jobs is to get on the scoreboard to help her team win.
Another Philly area native, Chalfont, Pennsylvania. Central Bucks West High School, Elena Romsburg. Usually just an athletics powerhouse, CB West across the board in the Philly area.
Yeah, there's a CB East, a CB West, there's a CB
South.
There's all kinds of, but they all have good athletes.
CB by the river.
Yes. Yeah. I know that all too well. They all say, well, which one did you go to? Rivals there. Ooh. Some physical play there. Which, as the Drexel coach, as long as you can keep it clean, which, you know, no, that wasn't too clean, but they're playing hard. And so you have to keep encouraging that, especially there are freshmen and sophomores. Encourage them to not give up.
Well, especially because these are the type of moments you remember when you do improve.
Exactly.
You think about You know, when you get to be a junior or senior and you point back to, hey, freshman year, we were down 11 at James Madison.
Exactly. And that's how you grow. I mean, we all remember our freshman year and how we felt in this game and that game, and then comparing it to your senior year. You're going to grow as a player. You're going to learn from experiences. And you only learn by playing teams that are better than you. And from the looks of how many freshmen are on this field right now for Drexel, they're going to be okay in 3 or 4 years.
Much better half, though. Much better second half for Drexel. Had the 2 goals from Delaney.
Yeah, and I think when you look at halves there, you want to break them down. Which one was better at that point? Second half's definitely looked better for Drexel.
And visible frustration from Colleen Grady. This is, again, one of those situations that maybe she'll point to later in the year.
Yeah, a good teaching moment for her. You know, she's a freshman. She's leading the team. That's a lot of pressure as a freshman. So good teaching moment for her to say, you know, it's okay that we're down by this much. It's not okay. We're not going to be okay with it, but let's learn from it.
James Madison ended up coming into the weekend off to its best 10-game start since 1988. They were 9-1.
Seems like a really long time ago.
Yeah.
Sport was a little different then.
A lot different.
They did not have fast starts. They didn't have boundaries. They didn't have goggles. They didn't have restraining lines. You know, they were just playing.
Grady missing Dietzel. And this is going to be another Dragon turnover.
Looks like we're going to get a timeout here from Shelley. Maybe calm her crew down.
Timeout on the field is James Madison in the driver's seat for what's its 11th win of the year. Lac Sports Network is your home for CAA lacrosse, and in 2018, that includes the entire CAA tournament. The women's tournament underway at James Madison University with the semifinals on Friday, May 4th, and then concludes right back here with the championship game Sunday, May 6th. It's the only place to see all 3 games right here, Lac Sports Network. So also the home of the CAA Men's Championship as well. Those men's semifinals Thursday the 3rd, and then the finals Saturday the 5th. So we have the entire CAA wall to wall this season.
Very cool. It's always an exciting weekend. You play to play again.
You gonna be here there, alumni?
We'll see. We'll see what the weekend comes up with, but sure, why not? Cheer on my Dukes.
We talked a lot about Molly Darty at one end. Zoe Bennett, though, has a bright future ahead of her as a freshman keeper.
Yeah, you know, we always say there's 7 defenders, but really there's 8. There's that last one in the cage, and she's had a great impact on today, even though maybe you can't tell by the score. She's really made a couple good stops. You know, when you're a freshman back there, it's not always easy to step into those. And it's never easy for me. I would never want to play her position, but she does a really nice job of keeping her head in the game as much as she can, you can tell.
You start to look ahead schedule-wise. James Madison won at Delaware the other night. Have to go back on the road. Sandwiched in between what is 3 road games is this game. They're at William and Mary on Friday, and then go right back at Elon the following Sunday. And then it doesn't get any easier. They have a non-conference game that got canceled because of weather against UVA.
Yeah. And
so 3 straight games on the road coming up.
You said it best. Not easy. UVA down the street, a big rival here at JMU. Just with schools, not even in sports. So I know it's a big game for them. I just saw UVA played Maryland the other night. Looked strong. So I'll be interested to see. Right smack in the middle of conference play, which I'm sure Shelley isn't too pleased about, but you can't control the weather, and that was a postponed game. So you got to play it midweek there, and you can always get excited for that one under the lights.
Winded down these final 6 minutes with the running clock.
Got some players in there that maybe don't play too much, but I always say there's more practices than there are games in the lacrosse season, so they're at practice every day. They're working hard. It's good to see them on the field doing whatever they can to help the team.
As far as what Drexel has coming up at Hofstra, that'll be a week from today, so they get a full week to prepare for their next one.
Good chance for them to break down film, see what Hofstra has, really take time to focus on them and then focus on themselves. And that's always a good feeling for a coach going into a week, not feeling like they're cramped with time. They have time to really break things down.
Yeah, you get a full week for self-reflection.
Yep. Hofstra, at Hofstra, chilly. Maybe it'll be nice for them next weekend.
Yeah, you hope so.
On the island.
You know, Molly?
Bounce shot goes wide. That was Stetson.
So that's one thing I would stress. JMU's been able to do 2 or 3 times today, run the ball out behind the goal on the defensive end. And as Drexel should not allow that to happen. They should be back there. They should have an attacker back there. It should be an automatic ball for them. But JMU's done a good job reading that and getting that ball back.
Top scoring offense in the league, again showing us why this afternoon. Shelley Clays-Baucom's team hasn't been held under 12 goals the entire year in any game.
Yeah, if you're able to score more than 12, keep your opponent under maybe 6 or 7, you're looking good.
And speaking of which, there's another one off of what ends up being an impressive cut, and there's more of that depth.
Good job, Kelsey.
That's Kelsey Reed.
It's great to see that, again, head up on that dodge, feeds inside, and a quick finish. That's a pattern that you've seen JMU use all day long. And that's something that I can remember Shelley telling me as a senior, keep my head up on my dodge because you never know what's inside. And she's really been able to stress this to the team. And they find each other well, they connect, and most importantly, they finish the shot.
Kelsey Reed, another one of those names, gets playing time, but because of a lot of the players that are ahead of her, probably doesn't play maybe as much as she wants to, but not lost her ability on head coach Shelley Clays-Baucom.
For sure, she's making it count when she's in there, and that's what matters most.
And Reed with plenty of lacrosse left too, just a sophomore.
Hard fall in the middle there.
And like Kelly Berger, by the way, a kinesiology major.
That sounds smarter than it is, doesn't it? Yeah, I was a kinesiology major. I was sports management. There were a lot of athletes with us in that major.
Go to her.
JMU has a very good kinesiology program.
Still putting it to use.
I am in the fitness industry. I do tap into that kinesiology.
That background.
My mom likes to know that I still use my college degree, you know? She's thankful for that.
I think everybody's parents, they want to know that you use it some way or another.
For sure. Who really knows what they want to do for life?
Especially if you were lucky enough to have them pay for it.
Yes.
And continuing to make Drexel pay for it, this JMU offense. Yet another goal. And let's get one more look.
It's a swing, and one more hit inside.
Back to back for Reed.
Yes. Good finish, and it almost feels like a full team goal there when you can hit, 2 quick passes and 1 feed inside. Everyone feels like they had something to do with it, even those players at the top. Really, we don't stress enough, those players at the top who are holding their space and keeping that 8 meter clear is just as important.
With the running clock, we're now down to our last 2 minutes here from Harrisonburg.
It does go by fast when you have that running clock. Drexel coming up with it. They're not done yet. They're gonna fight.
You remember Hannah Wazalik, maiden name Hannah Rudlaff. You remember her as a player, and judging by the way she approached the game and played the game, you know that a team coached by her not going to go quietly.
Not at all. Always a fighter, worked hard no matter what, and you can see that in her team. They are still going to push. They're going to still have composure on offense. Try and learn from the last possession, not make the same mistakes, and limit the turnovers. Charge call there. JMU did a good job by holding their position. Drexel trying to push through there rather than go around, and ref wasn't allowing that one to happen, so for safety reasons, smart to call it.
Now what will be an 11-1-1 start to the year for James Madison. Dragons will drop to 3-9, and unfortunately for Hannah Wazalik's club, they'll start CAA play 0-2.
Yeah, they have that game next week at Hofstra. Maybe they can turn that around, getting a win under their belt.
And the week to prepare never hurts.
For sure. Sometimes that can be a really long week as a coach, but I'm sure she has tons of things, just like any coach, to work on.
Now a dominant performance for the second straight time this weekend for James Madison. And the defending CAA champion, if the opening weekend any indication, likely going to be right back here on their home field in a few weeks for the semifinals. 15-2 ends up being our final score. As James Madison goes to 11-1 on the year, Drexel once again dropping to 3-9 and 0-2 in CAA play. That will do it for us here from Harrisonburg, Virginia. For my broadcast partner, Kelly Berger, and our producer, the always entertaining Norm Harnick, my name is Matt Martucci. Thanks for watching our coverage of the CAA Game of the Week. Coming up next, it's the Lacrosse Now postgame show, live from the LSN Broadcast Center. Have a great afternoon, everybody, and we'll see you Friday at Elon.